Hello, and welcome to Tales for Life. In each episode of this podcast, we'll explore a folk or fairy tale from a different culture or region and discover the life lessons, values, and morals they offer that we can use today. Join me on the journey through the magical and meaningful world of folk and fairy tales. Welcome, story lovers, to another episode of Tales for Life, the podcast that journeys through life one tale at a time. Today we're taking a trip back to 19th century Norway for our tale, in an episode I've titled, Success Lies in Taking Action, Not Waiting to be Acted Upon. It seems like you can't throw a rock anywhere these days without hearing about ways to achieve or succeed in life. Do this, do that, think this, think that. There are as many different methods to become successful as there are speakers talking about them, which is a major indicator that you can achieve success in multiple ways if you do just one thing. Act. It's a pretty simple formula, really. You can't learn to fly by daydreaming, you can't catch fish by sitting on the couch, and you can't reach your goals without action. You might be thinking, what if I do the wrong thing? What if I'm going the wrong direction? My answer to that is pretty straightforward. Better a valiant effort in the wrong direction than no effort at all. You can't correct your course if you never get going. Again, action is the key. Success and achievement are big topics personally and professionally, and they have been for a while. And you can see it in the number of tales from centuries past that are all about making it to a goal. One really delightful one comes from Norway, titled The Princess on the Glass Hill. Once upon a time, a farmer had 3 sons. Each year, on Midsummer's Eve, something devoured his crops. The eldest son stood guard 1 year, then the second, but both fled in fear when the ground trembled and a terrible roar filled the night. The third son, known as Cinder Lad for the way he always stayed in the ashes, was mocked by his brothers. But when his turn came, he stayed. From the darkness galloped a mighty horse, its mane like fire. It was so big and fat and fine a horse that Cinder Lad had never seen one like it before. And a saddle and bridle lay upon it, and a complete suit of armor for a knight, and everything was of copper, and so bright that it shone. "Ha ha! It is thou who eatest up our hay then," thought the boy, "but I will stop that." So he made haste, and took out his steel for striking fire, and threw it over the horse. And then it had no power to stir from the spot, and became so tame that the boy could do what he liked with it. So he mounted it, and rode away to a place which no one knew of but himself, and there he tied it up. The next year, a silver horse came, then a golden one. Each time Cinder Lad tamed it, and rode it away to his secret place. The king of the country in which Cinder Lad's father dwelt had a daughter, whom he would give to no one who could not ride up to the top of the glass hill. For there was a high, high hill of glass, slippery as ice, and it was close to the king's palace. Upon the very top of this, the king's daughter was to sit with 3 gold apples in her lap, and the man who could ride up and take the 3 golden apples should marry her and have half the kingdom. Knights and princes came from far and wide, but none could climb the slippery slope. Then a mysterious rider in bronze armor appeared. The other knights all called out to him that he might just as well spare himself the trouble of trying to ride up the glass hill, for it was of no use to try. But he did not heed them, and rode straight off to it, and went up as if it were nothing at all. Thus he rode for a long way. It may have been a third part of the way up, but when he had got so far, he turned his horse round and rode down again. But the princess thought that she had never yet seen so handsome a knight, And while he was riding up, she was sitting thinking, "Oh, how I hope he may be able to come up to the top." And when she saw that he was turning his horse back, she threw one of the golden apples down after him, and it rolled into his shoe. But when he had come down from off the hill, he rode away, and that so fast that no one knew what had become of him. On the second day came a knight riding on a steed that was much, much finer than that which the knight in copper armor had ridden. And this knight had silver armor, and a silver saddle and bridle, and all were so bright that they shone and glistened when he was a long way off. This knight rode further up the hill than the bronze knight. The princess liked this knight still better than she had liked the other, and sat longing that he might be able to get up above. And when she saw him turning back, she threw the second apple after him, and it rolled into his shoe. And as soon as he had got down the last hill, he rode away so fast that no one could see what had become of him. On the third day, a knight wearing golden armor came as before. But this knight rode all the way to the top. As soon as he had ridden to the top, he took the third golden apple from the lap of the princess, and then turned his horse about and rode down again, and vanished from their sight before anyone was able to say a word to him. Next day, all the knights and princes were to appear before the king and princess. It had been too late for them to do it the night before, in order that he who had the golden apple might produce it. They all went in turn, first princes and then knights, but none of them had a golden apple. So the king commanded that everyone in the kingdom should come to the palace and see if he could show the apple. And one after the other they all came, but no one had the golden apple. And after a long, long time, Cinderlad's two brothers came likewise. And then Cinderlad came before the king. "Hast thou the golden apple?" asked the king. "Yes, here is the first, and here is the second, and here is the third too," said Cinderlad, and he took all three apples out of his pocket, and with that drew off his sooty rags, and appeared there before them in his bright golden armor, which gleamed as he stood. So there was a wedding, and Cinderlad got the king's daughter, and everyone made merry at the wedding, for all of them could make merry, though they could not ride up the glass hill. And if they have not left off their merrymaking, they must be at it still. Now, while this story might easily be taken as just another version of Cinderella, which it is, that would be ignoring its lesson to us. Let's take a quick look at it. In the beginning of the tale, we have a farmer and his three sons. Cinderlad, not known for doing much but playing in the cinders, wasn't thought of very highly. And why would he be? He was not a man of action. He did nothing. And there's our first point. Sitting around doing nothing won't lead to success. By taking action, Cinderlad saves his father's crops and, as a byproduct, gains 3 magical horses and armor. And this takes us to the second point, which is a great follow-up to episode 29 a couple weeks back. Cinderlad builds on his initial success. He learns how to tame each horse and builds up his stash of successes. He doesn't boast and brag about it, just goes about it quietly. But he goes about it. And don't forget to note that the princess in this story also doesn't just sit there. When she sees what she wants, she doesn't wait for the knight to get to her. She throws an apple at him. Twice. She also takes action. And it is her action, combined with the action of Cinderlad, that results in the happily ever after. Waiting for something to happen just doesn't get anyone anywhere. The Princess on the Glass Hill isn't just the tale about shining armor, glass hills, and golden apples. It's a call to motion. Whether it's saving the crops, taming the horse, or claiming love with the toss of an apple, the real magic only begins when we move. Stories like this aren't just relics of the past. They're reminders that passivity is the real villain, and courage in motion is the hero. So go on, take that step, make that move, throw that apple. The hill may be steep, but your success story is waiting at the top. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Tales for Life.